Hello, my name is Brianna Brooks, and today I will be presenting a trauma-informed practices evaluation of a school crisis response plan. I am a graduate student at Concordia University, and this project was brought to me by my Crisis Response Intervention and Management course by Dr. Nicholson. I am a fourth grade teacher at Perry Street Prep Public Charter School located in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We are a Title I school where we receive federal funding to support low-income students throughout the nation. Over 90% of our students are Black. I teach fourth grade math, and I have a total of 45 students, where 27 of them are eligible for SPED services. As I guide you through this presentation, it's important to define what a school crisis is. Kieran King say, a school crisis is a temporary event or condition that affects a school, causing individuals to experience fear, helplessness, shock, and/or horror. A school crisis requires extraordinary actions to restore a sense of psychological and physical security. The origin of the crisis need not be school-based. Outside incidents and conditions also can create a crisis for a school. Before we continue to learn more about Perry Street School Crisis Plan, I want you to take a moment to look at these photos and reflect on how they make you feel. As you synthesize on the photos, I would like to share unfortunate news. Perry Street witnessed 5 drive-by shootings at the school playground during the school year of 2021-2022. Now, I will go into detail about how our school administration and leaders considered prevention, preparation, response, and recovery for the crisis plan. And it's so important to name that our students have been traumatically disturbed about a place where they thought was safe, and specifically the playground, an area where they engage with their peers and learn and grow through play and build social skills, has now been traumatized by community members, specifically ones that look like them, due to gun violence and selfishness. Meet Perry Street Prep School Administration. I'm going to read off each administrator and their role from the picture left to right. Ivy Vallant is our pre-K through third grade assistant principal. Rachel Crouch is the school principal. Kelly Smith is our director of operations, and Wallace Sellers is the 4th through 8th grade assistant principal. Considering the number of drive-by shootings we had on campus last year and the increase of school mass shootings, I chose the lockdown procedure to evaluate at Perry Street. Now, it's important to name a lockdown can be initiated by anyone, and at Perry Street, it can be announced in many ways, through our loudspeakers, a phone page, or through our crew systems, which is a communication system all staff have access to on their phones to receive messages. Or an adult can shout out the lockdown in the hallway. What you will hear or read is, the school is on lockdown. Repeat, the school is on lockdown. First, staff receive students back into the building and look in the hallway for students or adults to be ushered inside. Then we close and lock the doors, turn off the lights, and instruct students to stay calm and sit in the least visible area of the classroom. Then staff take roll and send a crew message to everyone on crew if they are missing students. We do not answer the door or the phone to anyone who has not clearly identified themselves as a school administrator or law enforcement agent with a badge. Staff can also evacuate through the safest accessible exit, or they can counter the attacker with a fight if necessary. Some things that staff members have to remember during a lockdown procedure is to use a calm and reassuring voice with students. Remind them all staff at our school are here to keep them safe and they are not in danger. Anyone can call a lockdown. Refrain from using phones, technology, or crew unless there is an actual emergency inside the classroom. Once law enforcement enters the building, everyone is a suspect. Keep your hands visible. Wait until a person has identified themselves at your door or a crew message has been sent out explicitly stating that the school environment is safe and normal activities can resume. It's also important to make sure you are aware and know where all your closest exits are from your classroom. And in case there is an emergency, place your red play card from the emergency book from your room under the door if there is a life-threatening emergency inside your room. Staff are involved in developing the crisis plan for Perry Street. During pre-service, which are the first 2 weeks before the first day of school, staff have an opportunity to support and present the procedures that are in place to responding to a crisis. Staff are very fast-paced and active when responding to a crisis and feel confident about the procedures that the administration has to protect the school. When I analyze the plan, it is flexible enough to address challenges such as a drive-by shooting, and we have the available staff and technology to respond promptly and notify families. And the plan is definitely targeted for a specific audience and not just the public. And it affects those who are directly impacted by the incident. As I consider the model for school crisis prevention and intervention, our crisis plan reflects response, protection, and mitigation. It is clear and listed how adults and children should respond to the crisis through the listed instructions. There are also measures of protection in place where adults are the safeguard people, and they make sure that students are clear of any property that would be damaging and contributing to the violence. There is also mitigation where we have an overall plan to respond to the crisis. I asked my administration how they tested the crisis plan. The first step was through a tabletop exercise. This included a walkthrough of the crisis management plan and becoming more familiar with the key players and their responsibilities during the incident. Then there was an integration of simulation where they could practice drills and even playing and alternating different roles to see how it actually felt to be in a crisis and following the procedure. Then the administration shared how they did a full-blown exercise involving multiple levels of departments of the organization, including teachers, families, and other faculty and staff. Administration had also mentioned how they considered alternating many scenarios as the area is in an underserved and very vulnerable community. It was important to consider community crime activities that students are exposed to daily. Furthermore, administration shared how they include intentional practices throughout the school year to involve all faculty and staff and all students in the building. This included quarterly drills where students and faculty could practice the procedure just in case we really had to lock down. While there was practice with the students and the staff when the school year started, there was lack of practice for this particular crisis plan during pre-service, which are the 2 weeks before school starts. So some potential problems that I identified with this plan is the mitigation, the time to actually practice the plan before students even come in the building. Also, ironically, there was a drive-by shooting while I was handicapped and teaching in a wheelchair. I did not know in real time what to do when this crisis was happening, especially considering my placement in the wheelchair and my incapability to move and respond as prompt and as fast as they would like. This caused some issues with getting my homeroom class together and being able to support them during the drive-by crisis shooting. Furthermore, considering my handicap accessibility, Perry Street's lockdown procedure crisis plan lacks disability inclusion, which can be extremely harmful in the time of a crisis. Considering the integration of students and staff with disabilities in school is essential when developing a school crisis plan. Considering our downfall, I will address this by encouraging my school administration to partner with the wellness team and our special education team and making proactive decisions simultaneously to consider the implications of the crisis plan, and then determining how to best address each student and staff's needs, including those who are handicapped or disabled. Perry Street does consider handicapped and disabled offering multiple lines of communication. However, the integration of inclusive planning can help us consider how these handicapped or disabled students and staff will play a part in the protection or evacuation process of our crisis plan.